Hello and welcome back to This or That with Kobe and Dash, sponsored by Verizon.
Damn right.
Worlds, baby.
It's Worlds time, Kobe. I'm so pumped.
Let's get right into it.
How's that sleep schedule coming? That's the big question.
Honestly, yeah, I was up till 5 a.m. last night trying to flip my schedule over, so
Hell yeah, China
let's
time.
get right into the slides.
Let's get into it.
Scary to be pulled into 4 groups, Group B or Group D?
Ooh, so for our playing teams, who would you want to avoid?
I would want to avoid Group D.
Yeah.
Because TES is one of the top 3 teams at the tournament by pretty much all analysts. A lot of analysts have them, number 1 even. So that's super scary to get pulled into, but two teams get out. So I've seen a lot of people judging groups, and you really do have to judge by both top 2 teams that you predict for this group, not just the peak.
Right, that's actually a really good point, because I do initially see top esports and go, well, you're doomed in that group. Number 1 team from the defending champion region, who just utterly has smashed teams throughout the year. I do believe that no one stands a chance against top esports. DRX, obviously a strong team as well, but I think that, to your point, Kobe, do they look beatable? And depending on which team gets placed in that group, do they look beatable? Then there's an argument for maybe FlyQuest or a play-in team coming out as second in that group. I don't know.
I would still say
G2 strong, but I think you're right on Group D.
Yeah, because like G2 and Suning are both very strong, and then it's going to be difficult whichever group you get pulled into. But just look at the mid laners in Group D. Like it's that is so scary.
Right. Yeah, even Power Vivo, right? And I would still put Power Vivo's the 3rd best mid laner in that group, but he's still no slouch of a mid laner.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the next one. Good thing I don't play mid lane, that guy starts feeding.
Play in Group A favorite? Come on, it's got to be Team Liquid.
Interesting.
Come on.
Mad Lions actually still, I think, really scary, even though they had that drop off.
Yeah.
Just because watching their split, them being at the top of the LEC for so long, them utilizing their rookies so well. I honestly think that Group A is a place for rookies to shine, tactical as well as Shadow and all of them for Mad Lions.
I like that the label of group of the superstar rookies. That's pretty cool to see those two guys come to a head here. But I think I'm going to go with Team Liquid, if only for the point you're kind of making there, Kobe, around Mad Lions' success in their region with rookies. I think obviously that gets a little harder to replicate on the international stage. And yes, there is a rookie on Team Liquid in tactical. He is surrounded by so many years of experience, and in particular years of experience on the international stage. And so I do think that for tactical, his job isn't changing in a lot of ways from regional to international performance. It's stick in lane, do a solid job, get the gold, and end up being a solid, team fight carry later in the game. So I don't think really much is going to change for him, and it's really up to the rest of Team Liquid, who I do have faith in as veterans.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm excited to see those bottom lanes go against each other. Kaiser Karzi versus Tactical and Core JJ. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. Also biased, but that's all right. I'm okay to admit that. But
the style of the two teams, I think, is really cool, because Team Liquid have been slower than the Mad Lions. Mad Lions being super aggressive early on and creating a lot of action. Let's get to the next one.
Let's do it.
Caitlyn Nerfs. Still a priority pick or out of the meta? I think it's still a decent pick.
I was going to say, I think it's still a decent pick, and the range is just the big part of it. Like, the reason Caitlyn has always ended up coming back into the meta with a number push here or there is because of the things that are already good in her kit. The ability to be a bully in lane early with her range, effectively push against turrets by zoning, with traps and things like that. And I think, none of that changes really with Caitlyn Nerfs. So priority pick, I mean, maybe she's not first pick, but I still think we're going to see her a decent amount.
All right, next slide. Strongest set of the teams.
Whoa. I mean, okay. I think I go straight down the middle here with the LPL. We were just talking about how strong Top Esports has looked as the number 1 team in that region, but the next 3 are almost just as good in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and not only is the LPL the defending champion region, but they're also the deepest region with so many teams to offer. They're sending all these new teams to Worlds. They're not even sending their repeat, defending champions or the defending champions from the year before that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think if you were going to try and say, like, which region does the strongest team or the eventual winner come from? Actually, then maybe you get into some arguments about other regions' top team, having a case for it. But if we're talking strongest full-on set of teams, hard to argue against the region that most recently has been defining the way you play League of Legends. Couple world championships in a row, the LPL wins. All of the players, too, have now gone to China and are playing over there. And we've seen some hilarious tweets where they're like, turns out you don't need an objective to fight over. You just fight first, and then you go, right? Like, you don't fight for the objective. You just fight, and then when everyone's dead, you go take whatever objective you want, is apparently the way you play League of Legends.
The LPL, they can be as cocky as they like. They can come in with full swagger.
Yes.
They've 3-0'd the last 2 world finals. So, whatever
Knock
you say.
Yeah, it's definitely the LPL. Let's see what we got next.
Next slide. Makes you more nervous, 20-minute Baron or soloing a Drake at level 4. Okay, so...
Ooh.
20-minute Barons, those I always feel so confident because you take that when you're smashing a game. What scenario do you take a 20-minute Baron in where you didn't just like slam the other team, you're aced them or something? But soloing Drakes at level 4, I try and cheese, solo queue teams like that all the time. And you're just like, you blast cone over the back of the wall and you're like, okay, I hope nobody comes to check this real quick. The jungler, just recalled, please don't find me. I feel like that one.
At level 4, you're using your gap closer for damage on the Drake too. So you have no chance of getting out of that pit if you get found. I'm kind of with you there. There's definitely more individual nervousness when I am the one soloing a Drake at level 4. But you know why that is? I think because it's amplified by the fact that if this play fails, I know my whole team is going to flame me.
Yeah,
because now you're the idiot who was trying to solo the Drake when all the lanes decided didn't have priority or something and roamed into river to kill you, and that sucks. But
if the other slide for Baron was like we're sneaking the Baron, two people trying to sneak it or something, maybe it'd be more nervous.
Right.
The fact that one of these is soloing, you have to be more nervous with that.
Exactly, because it's all on you. You take all the success and all the hate. Either way it goes. So I'm with you. Soloing Drake it for me. We're also junglers, so of course that's what we choose.
All right, next one. Best player. Who is your top player?
Knight or anyone else?
Because I haven't checked all of the top 20 lists, but pretty much all analysts have Knight up there at the top.
Yeah.
Best mid laner and mid lane most important role as well goes a lot into that. So it is really hard to argue anyone else. Honestly, you might start arguing some of the other, like the LCK mid laners.
I was about to say,
you could say Showmaker, you could say Chovy, these types of things. It's still hard for me to put a nod mid laner as not, the best player in the world, though.
Yeah, a non mid laner as not the best player in the world. I'm trying to follow
again.
Okay,
5 a.m. James. 5 a.m. Just keep going.
That was like
I'm gonna say some things. I don't really.
I think I'm with you. I mean, it's hard. As much as like sometimes it sucks to be consensus with everybody. I am kind of with you. Again, when we're looking at the best team from the number 1 region in the world and the top performer on that team, I think when you look at pre-tournament expectations, it is right to consider Knight the best player going into Worlds. But I think you threw out a couple really important names like Showmaker in the mid lane. And I actually think mid laners, as we have seen in previous Worlds, generally can end up being the defining players, on the international stage just by virtue of where the lane is on the map. Even, Doinby ended up being the most impactful. Even if we, go back to Crown winning a world championship, yes, it was Malzahar the whole time, but he had a very specific duty. He had a very specific role and a purpose to fill. And so I think mid laners can end up being the most impactful players in a tournament just by virtue of the role. But for now, Knight's the best.
All right. All right. Next slide. Here we go. Buffed enough to see play at Worlds.
I don't think
Sivir
Vayne.
or Vayne. So
do we have a Vayne player? Who would play it?
Vayne got
Double
the bigger
lift.
buff, but Reckless already plays a bunch of Sivir like all the time, and I've been seeing him play it. So it might actually get played, even though the Sivir buff wasn't, that big. So
yeah. I mean,
I feel like Sivir's more likely of a champion to get played.
Yeah, I agree. I think we actually have a chance of seeing multiple Sivirs. I'm not saying we won't see a Vayne. I think there's a possibility with the buffs, especially in an elimination game. Oh, where's Uzi, please? I know, right? And that's why I brought up Doublelift, because it's like the next Vayne player that jumps to mind. But it's been years since I've seen Doublelift play a Vayne game. So I see Vayne coming out in a very specific counter scenario, or a team in groups that is either already out or needs a last victory to win and is going to take a stab at something different to try. Sivir, on the other hand, to me, utilitarian champion, fits into a lot more comps. We're going to see her no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, you can push waves, spell shield. There's always a reason for that. So we shall see. Next slide. Yeah. I lost count, by the way. We had 9.
Yeah, there's 9 total.
I'm pretty sure we're close to the end. This might
like
actually be the last one. This is looking like a... will more unique champions be picked or banned than last year? We had 98. It was the most unique champions we ever had at a Worlds.
Yeah, so last year, like you said, most unique ever. I think I'm going to go with yes. I think we will see even more champion diversity this year, in part because I think it's already been a pretty diverse year in champion picks regionally, for a number of regions. And so, yeah, I think that, coupled with this idea that different teams do seem to want to play around different parts of the map. Now, who knows? Worlds generally does, all teams start to funnel in towards a specific scenario. But even regionally, and or just using NA as an example, we've sent 3 different teams to Worlds that play in 3 different styles. And I think that that's true now more than ever for all the regions, that we're sending more different styles of teams. So I think they're predisposed to playing different champs.
I mean, each year, theoretically, the chances should get higher if you just look at the champion roster. With reworks make more of them viable. We add more champions.
Yep.
If Samira was in there, she'd be getting picked for sure.
Thank God she is not in that pool right now.
Yone and Samira at Worlds actually would be cool to watch if they weren't permabans.
Exactly.
I'll say the numbers are on your side, increasing each year. So I'll trend towards that, because it hasn't been like you're saying, this year has already been pretty diverse, and there are different strategies that you can run. So I think it's a decent bet to go.
And why would we not vote for what we want? We want champion diversity. So of course we're going to vote for this. What's next?
All right, let's see. Do we have a next slide? Yes, we do. This one might be the last as
well.
well.
Why are you gonna
part
do
of
this to
Take
us?
Over, the song or the video. For me, I got to be honest, it was for sure the video.
Yeah.
Honestly, the first time I listened to it, I was watching the video so much so that I forgot that it was a music video, and I wasn't even really paying attention at all to the song. It was kind of background noise for me, and I was just watching like a little anime or something.
No, I'm with you. The song is good. I've definitely listened to it a whole bunch of times at this point, but I think the video too is the narrative illustrated, right? And like the narrative of the song had to have come first, yes, but like for me, so often I love to see that kind of artistic representation of the story, and to be reminded of all those past historical Worlds moments. The song is great and it gets me amped for this year. The video is what kind of elicits all of those amazing emotions and emotional attachment I have to the 9 years prior to this. And so I think that's why the videos, as time has gone on, the videos have hit me harder. Whereas I think earlier in my career, or even just as a fan, back in season 2, when I watched season 2 Worlds for the first time, I think the music hit me a little harder, because I was just so amazed at how incredible, it was that this high level music was being produced for a video game competition.
I really like too about the video how you know, you have to defeat all the former world champions.
Yes.
But also all of the former world champions are smiling when you defeat them, and they're just like you know, excited for competition, and they're like,
I love it.
Let's go. We want to see the best in the world fight, which to me is what Worlds is. I want to see more of the best in the world going at each other. So
pass it on. Let's see what that next big play will be. Who's going to get something named after them? Right? I want to know who's the next player that gets a move named after them. I want to know.
Where's our new insect? We need something like that is definitely viable with Samira, by the way.
Okay,
that
so
champion,
next year. We gotta wait for next year then.
It might turn into a meme and be like, oh, you just got Samira, and it just is like some BS.
It's just a face roll, 1v5.
By the way, funny story. I was in the game with Revenge. Did you see the GIF that popped up?
Yes,
yes. I was in that game with him. I was on his team. He was not super fed or anything when that happened, and we were going to lose the game. If we got ace there, they were going to take Baron. They were going to win the game. That team got Samira because he just bet to kill them. Actually, 1v5 after we had just died.
I still don't understand how that champion works, but I feel like if I smash my face on the keyboard, I might come away with a quadra.
They did hotfix nerf, so
okay, cool.
They hotfix nerfed it already, so this or that is done. Go ahead into the practice tool, everybody, and go give it a shot.
Yeah, go test her out. You got some time.
Thank you for joining us. We will be continuing to do this or that episodes for Worlds. We're switching our sleep schedules right now. James is actually going to be different from mine a little bit, so we will. It's
going to be wild.
And we'll still get them out. I think like one after every stage or so. So tune in.
Something like that. See y'all.